New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Why, hello and welcome. I am Bonnie Gonzalez, your doula for grief, and just welcoming you here right now to the show today, or whatever time you're watching, knowing that whenever you're watching, it's the right time. This message can be heard and received at any time. There's no specific place and time that it needs to be heard, but just know that it does need to be heard. So I am a registered nurse. I am a religious science practitioner. I am also a soul collage facilitator and a human being right here on the planet with you, navigating this sometimes wild and wonderful time. So just know that if this is your first time with us or with me, know that you have come to the right place to start that journey of navigating grief. And if you're returning, I'm honored, I'm delighted. Let's just pick up from where we left off before. And I'll make this hour about you and for you. Drop a comment, drop a question, just be with us and we'll be with you. So just know that this is a safe place, that you can come and allow yourself to lean into grief. And just reminding everyone that grief is caused by loss. Loss is what we experience. And then grief is what we feel. Those are the emotions that come up in response to the loss that we have experienced in our lives. And I do want you to know, as difficult as it may be right now, as devastating as it may be right now, you are truly resilient and can move through this time. And I feel, and my 3 pillars of moving through grief is that grief needs to be heard. Yes, heard. Grief needs to be validated. And grief needs to be shared. That's just the beginning. But talking about your grief, having someone witness and say, yes, I hear you on your grief, and sharing the story of what has gone on. That is how we heal. And I know that that's difficult, but that's what I mean by leaning into grief, leaning into that discomfort. And I just want to say that grief has a superpower. And grief's superpower is healing. It heals us. It transforms us. There's no way that we can walk through that hot fire of grief and come out on the other side as the same person. We come out with that sense of resilience. If I live through that, I can live through anything. And so with that, I don't want to take too long because I have a wonderful guest who is just like a sister friend. And it's like sitting at the table with your favorite best friend or your favorite auntie, and they've just got wise words of wisdom around grief. And so I want to get my guest on before time gets away from me. And my well, first of all, my topic today, or my theme today, is 12 suggestions for navigating grief and loss. So that's 12 suggestions for navigating grief and loss. And I couldn't think of a better person to come and share their perspective on navigating grief with these 12 suggestions. And that is Reverend Gina Colvario Krupka, who is the spiritual leader of Greater Boston CSL. She is also a member of the prayer team on New Thought Media, right here on New Thought Media. And she hosts Finding the Joy in the Journey. And that is on Thursdays at 1 p.m. Same time as Your Doula for Grief on Monday, and then come back on Thursday and jump right in with Reverend Gina. And Reverend Gina is the founder of Believe in You Today. She's a certified life coach, published author of 3 books, and a motivational speaker with over 25 years of experience in speaking, coaching, training, and workshop facilitation. Her passion is helping people realize their potential and live happy and fulfilled lives. And she's available for private life or spiritual coaching, training, and workshops. So let's just give a round of applause to Reverend Gina for coming in to be with us today to help in this lively discussion. Welcome, welcome, Reverend Gina. I am just overjoyed to have you. Overjoyed.
Blessings to you.
Yes, such a wise woman. And every time you're on my show, you just leave us with these wise, wonderful nuggets. So I know that today, is truly special. And I say thank you up front for your yes to today.
Always, always. I love being here with you. I love you, and I love all you do. What you do is so important.
Yes.
It's really, too often especially our society, we don't make room for grief. Nobody wants it. No one wants to grieve. Nobody wants to have that loss or physical pain of. But it happens, and if we don't make the room for it, it stays stuck.
Oh, and that'll be, oh my goodness, you're almost just leading right into our 12 suggestions. But what I wanted to say to that about having you on, I often refer or relate to spiritual, ministers, practitioners, just people that are holding people during time of crisis. I say, just like when there's an accident on the side of the road, you see the first responders, they swoop in and swoop the person off to the hospital so that they can be cared for. And that's what I feel that you do, Reverend Gina. You are one of the spiritual first responders who swoops the person up to hold them, to be able to bring some comfort at that time. So
that's a privilege. To me,
yes.
To be able to do that for people, to be able to hold people in their time of when they need love,
yes.
To be that love, because we are the hands, the heart, we are the voice of divine. It comes through us. So we are here to be in that place, and that it's important to be able to speak that language. And your show allows people to do that. We learn how to talk about the things that people don't know how to speak about.
Right. And I really do believe, or not just believe, that I know, Reverend Gina, by you and I being able to talk about this so openly and so publicly, that then people are able to say, well, if they can do that, yeah, then I can. We say that it's okay to be able to share it. And even if it's, I love that term, raggedy. It's like when you don't have all the correct words, but you're feeling, and it's okay to be raggedy in your emotions.
I think, I think we get this belief sometimes as if we're supposed to be strong, whatever that means. And I believe, and I have it in my book as well. I used to believe that which doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And now I feel like it's not necessarily stronger. You may survive, but you're not the same person.
Yes, yes, yes.
And it's almost like it can thin you out a little bit. If a ship's been on the ocean in an awful storm, it may still float, but it's hanging in there. It doesn't look like it used to. It doesn't feel like it used to. So it can be restored, but it doesn't mean nothing happened. And we're like that when it comes to grief. We're different because of it.
Yes, and we are changed because of it. We are changed. So maybe with using that as just a segue to move into some of the suggestions that have been prepared. I'll let you in on a secret. I said to Reverend Gina it would be 12 suggestions, and Reverend Gina felt like, oh, there's no way we're going to get through 12.
There's no way we're going to make it through, but that's ambitious. We'll see. It'll be like we'll see how far we can go. If we can test.
And I want to assure people that they won't get shortchanged. We will still be able to discuss this, be maybe laser focused, but not rushed or hurried, and leaving space for just leaving space.
It might be another week that we finish it off.
And there may be part 2. So I'm open to that.
And we are live. So anybody that has comments or anybody that wants to let us know, it's important too. We want to hear from you. We've got Wayne here with us from Calgary.
Oh, howdy, Wayne.
Good to be with you. Any comments or questions people have are welcome as well.
Thank you. Thank you. The reason I wanted to offer some suggestions, Reverend Gina, is because not sometimes, I would say grief can leave you feeling totally powerless, like the rug has been pulled from under you. You don't know which way to turn. You don't know where to go. So I thought I would start to offer some suggestions when you're finding yourself in that space.
Yes.
So our first suggestion is be patient with yourself. Grief is exhausting.
I think it's so important. I think it's not easy. It is easier for me to be patient with others than myself a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I get frustrated. Oftentimes other people see what I do and I don't give myself credit for it. And that's any given day.
Yes.
But when it comes to grief, it's like trying to swim with a heavy blanket on.
Oh, I just wanted to add to that. Yes, that why is it exhausting? It's like you have mentally, I just call it taking a traumatized hit, but still trying to continue to make, make dinner, drive here, go there. That it is, I love that you're swimming with, what is it?
A heavy wet blanket on.
Right.
You don't go swimming with all your regular clothes. There's a reason for that, because it drags you down. And that's what emotions can drag us. And it can be so heavy. And it takes what it takes. It might be a day, it might be an hour, it might be a month, or whatever it is that we're walking through. Every person acts and reacts differently.
Exactly.
And it's important that we love ourselves where we are and understand that we're supposed to be where, exactly where we are.
Yes.
There's, I can't think of, Songbird, I think was her name. She said, "It's okay." It's a song. And it's on, she was on AGT. And it's a beautiful song. And really her life was falling apart, and she had leukemia and transitioned not long after she sung it live.
Oh, wow.
And it really captured the heart of America. But the point was, it's okay. not to be okay.
Right. And can I want to add something to that, be patient with yourself and that it's exhausting. So many times we start comparing ourselves to someone else. It's like, oh, well, Mary Sue had this problem and she was back, back in the full swing of life after, 5 minutes. But just know that is what being patient with you. Your process is your process.
There are people that remarry in 6 months after losing, and then there are other people that never go on another date in 20 years. So
Yes.
it is not about a timeline. It is simply every person gets their own experience of, and none of them are wrong. And it's important that we validate how we're feeling and giving it voice, like you said earlier. Giving it voice and honoring it helps us move through it rather than get stuck.
Yes, yes, yes. I always use the term that these emotions come up and they come to pass. They come up to be felt, to be sensed, to gain from those emotions, to learn from them. And they do pass. They do pass. And knowing that what you resist will persist. So,
like an ocean wave, if you go with the wave and you jump when the wave is coming and you kind of go with the flow, it goes past. But if you try to stand against a big wave, it'll take you right under.
wow.
So it's learning how to go with the flow. And when you're sad, if you don't have anybody to talk to, find someone. There's help out there.
There are, these professional, there's group supports. There are groups, just raise the hand and start asking.
Yeah. Even reach out to us. You see by the end of this, you'll see our emails, and find whoever you need to get the help that you need.
Yes.
And that's strength. That is not, that's
the truth. That's the truth. That is a truth that has been spoken. We definitely are here for you. I love that expression that Thich Nhat Hanh always says. He says the kindest thing, the most helpful, the most loving thing that you can say to someone is, I am here for you. I am here for you. So both Reverend Gina and I are here for you. Our next one is be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Lately, I myself have been monitoring my self-talk. What do I say when I talk to myself? I think there was an old book that was about what do I say when I talk to myself. So I just say, be aware of what you're saying to yourself.
Yes.
Treat yourself like a newborn baby. How would you talk to a newborn baby? When people are holding a baby and caressing it, or even a newborn kitten or a puppy, people are so maybe for me, I say, let that image come into your head of being gentle with yourself.
Everything is songs to me. I have I love music because
I do too.
It helps me move through. So Gentle with Myself is a song from Karen Drucker that is it is so much a wonderful reminder of that. And it is, I will be gentle with myself. I will love myself like a newborn baby child.
Oh my goodness.
The lines in the song. And it is, you have to look it up. And
I'm writing it.
She's my guest on Thursday, so I'm excited.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Thursday she's on with me. And she is such a gift. She's wonderful. But that is one of her songs, is Gentle with Myself. And we're not all raised that way. We're not all raised to honor ourselves. Some people don't even know what that looks like. But being gentle with yourself is allowing yourself to be human.
Yes, acknowledge.
Allowing yourself to feel, and even when you don't want to, it's allowing yourself to be, not do. We are human beings, not human doings. And when we're dealing with grief, and there's so many different kinds, whether it's a loss of a loved one or a
Yes.
beloved pet or a job or physical ability, whatever it may be, it's really, there have been times in my life when I physically couldn't do things, and all I say is, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And they're like, it's not your fault. Like, you're not doing this. Like, and all I can say is, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And it's not about blame, but there evidently is shame there. Guilt and shame do not serve in any way. They have nothing to do with grief. Let it go. If you hear yourself apologizing, you're not being gentle with yourself.
Exactly. Oh, those are beautiful. That is well said. Well said, Reverend Gina. I was going to say, and when you talked about the Karen Drucker song, I Will Be Gentle with Myself. For me, one of my ways of being gentle with myself is listening to music. Just maybe lying on the bed, listening to music, or sitting in a chair and just listening to music. My favorite pieces of music is how I show gentleness to myself. So
have a playlist for when you're not feeling your best. I have a playlist that helps me remember Spirit is holding me and I don't need to do it. Spirit, I am surrounded, I am loved, I am exactly where I'm supposed to be, and it's okay to cry. And then I have the other side where it's okay, let's get back up again.
Right.
Yes. It's important that we have both, because sometimes we need to be there, even if it's uncomfortable.
Yes. So I would just invite our listeners to find what gentleness, what activities, if it's an activity, as I said, song and listening to music, allows you to feel that you've been treating yourself. Oh, coloring, oh my gosh. Oh, we're getting into another whole program now. Doodling.
Coloring books. It's adult coloring books. That's part of my being gentle, is just being as a child and having fun and doing what I need to. My newest obsession is otters.
Oh, I got that. Oh my God. What's
my otters are my newest obsession.
Oh,
and my reason for that, I think they're telling me I need to not take life so seriously.
Yeah, I was going to say,
being playful.
Yeah, spiritually, what do otters? They play in the water a lot.
Feminine energy. Actually, they represent feminine energy, and also very much being in the moment and being in, that playful and joy.
Yeah.
And I've taken things too seriously at times lately, and that isn't my first nature. So it's time to get back to the child in me. So that's part of being gentle with yourself, is let that child in you back out again. Watch funny shows. Do whatever you need to.
Yes, laugh if you can. Oh wow. Okay. Alrighty. I'm getting a list here myself. When I saw your otter, it's like, oh, there's nothing wrong with having a little stuffed animal. That kind of reminds you to be gentle with yourself.
And everybody's different, and everybody finds their own. But I'm telling you, for me, it's been an interesting, I'm allowing myself to be this guy right here, and I've brought him into my show, and this is what I call him Snowball. And this last 2 weeks, I have put him on Sunday service. He's been with me everywhere. He's my screensaver on my computer. And the funny thing is I cannot look at him and not smile.
Oh, I was going to say, you cannot look at him and feel bad.
I just feel so loved. Yes. And that's being gentle, is finding something that brings that love to you. Find, blow bubbles at the ocean. You can't be in a bad mood. Blowing bubbles. Take some time off for yourself.
Yes. Step away. Push the pause button is what I call it. Push the pause button on everything.
Yes.
You need to. Beautiful. Well, that will go to number 3. We'll move to number 3. Keep life simple. Keep life simple. If you have suffered a traumatic loss and you're in grief, this is definitely not the time to maybe think of selling the house, getting a new car, having, family members flying in from all over. Now is not that time. The time is just to keep it simple. Because sometimes when people are in grief, there's this sense of like a mental fog that is so talked about. It's like, oh, it's like a mental fog. I'm in a daze. It's like, oh, I can't really think clearly. Like decisions that in the past were not even anything that you'd have to pause for. Now it's like, oh, I keep ruminating on what I should do. So just keeping your life as simple as possible. And I'm going to add this: ask for help if you need it. Ask for help.
Yep.
People really do want to help. We're very social creatures, and people want to help us.
And so often we're like, oh no, I'm okay. I'm okay. What does that even mean? So it's important to remember part of keeping life simple is figuring out, do we know what that means for us?
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like? Because keeping life simple to me, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, was very different than today.
Yes.
My life today is a lot. There's a lot of stuff taken out of it. And it wasn't by choice. There was some medical concerns that, surgeries and stuff like that happened that I was no longer able to do what I used to do. And while how it happened was awful, the perspective change in living completely differently is a gift. So I would never have been a minister. I wouldn't have never have taken the time or the awareness to know and recognize that this is what I'm here for. So keeping it simple looks different to different people. And we need days that we do nothing.
Yes.
Times that we do nothing. And
yes.
Go by the beach if you're live by the ocean. If you don't, go somewhere that makes you feel, you realize that there's so much more than just the busyness of life. Get yourself out of that rat race routine and just
I have been just yesterday listening. I was flying all day yesterday, but anyway, I was listening to it's a book on tape, and it's The Ministry of Naps, Rest as a Manifesto. Oh my goodness. Listening to that makes me realize, yes, we do live in that we've just been socialized in a way that we have to be doing. That doing means it's your self-worth, how you identify, and when people meet you, they ask you, what do you do? So it's like so wonderful to have the opportunity to reassess what I do, reassess what activities. And the same here with keeping life simple, to reassess what it is that you are doing. Does that need to be done now? Or at all?
Yes. Because, keeping it simple is really about one foot in front of the other and the next right thing. It is not about, well, no. It's simply about putting one foot in front of the other and thinking of nothing else. In this moment, what do I need to do? What do I need to, and that may be simply get out of bed and reach out for help. And if that's all you do, do it and know that it's enough. That there is no requirement to being a child of divine. Spirit loves you exactly as you are. We are not really broken. It just seems that way. It seems like we're shattered on the inside, but we're not. And spirit
despite appearances.
Spirit will hold it all together and love us as we are. But we need to let that happen.
Right. We need to, yes. And I love when you say, and I've been advocating this as well, to look in the mirror and ask yourself, What do I need today? What do I need right now? And it's so sad, Reverend Gina, that I've been doing that. And I sometimes find that people don't know when I ask that question to them and
There are
say
a lot of people that can't even look in their own eyes.
no.
Cry. They'll be in tears looking in their own eyes. They can't even look at themselves. You know, when you talk
Yes.
about mirror work with Louise Hay did all kinds of mirror work where you would look
Oh,
at
that's
yourself and say, I love you. And I have worked with many clients that could not even look at themselves, let alone say affirmations. So
exactly.
part of, keeping life simple is, a mantra can be, I am enough, I do enough, and I have all that I need.
I am enough.
I do enough, and I have all that I need.
Hmm. We'll write that as a mantra in our comment box. Yes, say it once more. I am enough.
I am enough. I do enough, and I have everything that I need now.
Okay. I'm writing this down for myself as well.
And if you have to, hang it up around the house. Remind yourself. There's times in my life that I've had to put things like that on a reminder on my phone, so it popped up every 2 hours.
Right.
Whatever you need to hear, you put that there as a reminder that every hour it's going to go off and remind you of what you need to be reminded of. And sometimes that reminder can just be, just breathe.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I just said that to someone that sent a text about it. Remember to breathe. Remember to just breathe. Because that can be a very simple thing that slows everything down and does lend itself to keeping life simple.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, then we'll move to number 4. Somebody's already on it. Okay, allow yourself time and space for grief. And I will let you speak to that one first, and then I'll share so that I'm not so talky.
Grief looks different for every person. And one thing I know is some people immediately it hits, and others, for a lot of people, you get through whatever the traditional ceremonies may be, whether it's a wake or funeral, whatever it is that you're sitting shiver, you get through where everybody's around you because it just happened. And it's the next week that it hits. When my mother transitioned, I got through the emergency week and a half. I got through it, and I don't know about okay, but I got through it. And then the next week, I couldn't get off the chair.
Oh, exactly. You
And I
never
know what's coming, and I know how this is, and I've been teaching about grief for decades. Yet, week 2, it was overwhelming, and grief can sneak in a lot of ways. And having time and space to grieve means that the other things get canceled. I don't do them anyway because it takes my mind off things. Sometimes I'm not going to say that's not good sometimes in different ways, but not to avoid ourselves from being where we need to be.
Exactly. I know when my sister's husband died suddenly, 49, outside sunning himself in the sun. That's what she said, that she set her alarm to just cry and grieve for an hour, just to allow it. And I know there's no comparative suffering or that kind of thing, but I was just in Ireland visiting my daughter, and my daughter and granddaughter, who's only 5, and I had to say, I'll be leaving. And it was such a heartbreak. And I told my little granddaughter, it says, "Oh, Emma," and she calls me Lola. I said, "Oh, Emma, Lola's going to be leaving tomorrow. She's going to get on a jet plane. It's going to take her far, far, far away, and she won't be able to visit you tomorrow." And she just says to me, "Oh, Lola, but I love you." And it just broke my heart. And I allowed myself that night to grieve. I told my daughter, I said, oh, I'm going to go back to where I was staying. I'm going to go back and I'm just going to cry myself to sleep. I'm just going to let myself, I allowed myself to feel that. I just allowed myself to feel it. And if we can start doing it for any episode or incident, it allows us to then see how, yes, I can lean into that. I can recover from that. Yes, it's sad. But I can survive that. It's not going to take me under. So that's
things. There's different things. I just want to say hello.
We got some people there, I think. I think, Shay, good afternoon, ladies.
Shay, thank you.
Yes. I'm glad you got it. If you have any other insights, Shay, please feel free to share.
It is. When we think about taking time, too often we rush through life, and we don't realize some things we need to be with and allow and honor. And that's what we're honoring it. And it may not be consecutive. Every year when the anniversaries come around, it's hard for me. Not everybody's, not everyone, but it's hard. And, it just is, we deal with it the best we can. She said, buried grief never dies.
Oh my gosh. Buried grief never dies. Thank you. I was going to say this, allowing ourselves space to grieve so taps back into, number 3, that if you keep life simple, there is space to grieve. It doesn't get crowded, overwhelmed, things push, to the back burner. Keeping life simple allows you to have space to grieve.
And these aren't in order. It's important people realize that there's no order to it in the sense of life. It'll pop up and then it'll pass. It'll ebb and it'll flow. I turn 50 next week. And
happy birthday.
Thank you. And I'm really feeling I'm missing my sister and my mom and my dad and my family. So many have transitioned, and how I wish that they could be here to celebrate.
Oh, I know.
I don't need a party. It's not that I want one, but I want them at one, and
that's true. And that's a part of asking, what do I need right now? I need to acknowledge that I want my family here. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong.
Or when you're not feeling well at any age, and, not everyone has that relationship, but wanting to call your mom and just to let her know and they love you in a different way. And not all, don't get me wrong, I get it. But, if that's one place that I would go for when I needed to feel vulnerable. I could allow myself there.
Yeah.
Everybody is different, but it is important that we are aware of different circumstances bring things up, and there is no getting over it.
Never, ever, ever. Yes. Yeah, there was some other acronym for that, but right now I can't remember. Getting over it. You never get over it. You just move forward with it. Oh, wow. So our next one, I really wanted to really spend some time on this, develop rituals to facilitate the grieving process. And I just want to assure people that rituals don't have to be anything big and elaborate, not at all. It could be, on my sister's birthday, who she transitioned in 2020, lighting a candle and playing all the Al Green songs that she loved. Just being, that's a ritual. Maybe a reading that I would read as I light the candle, and just playing her favorite music. So going out in nature, doing an activity that your loved one or the person that you're grieving would have done. Flowers, an altar. It could be very, very simple, and anyway, I'll let you speak to that as well.
For me, I wear my mom's ring a lot. The ring she left, that I have of hers that she wore every day. And every time I look at it, I think of her and I feel her. And often I, for the most part, don't leave the house without it. It's one of those things that's almost like a safety blanket now. And I feel closer to her wearing it. There's a lot of different, I don't know that I have rituals so much. I mean, I don't necessarily think for me it's not about lighting a candle. I have family members that every anniversary there's a mass said, and that's not my practice, but it's theirs. And I honor that. I appreciate it. I respect it. I'm grateful that they love and care that way. But it's not necessarily my way. Even going to the cemetery is not my way because I know they're not there. They're in the one life. And it's not my way to see them at a cemetery. That's not my, So for me, but whatever works for, part of the ritual for me would be just sitting and talking with them. Knowing that they are hearing, that they are here, that there is no gone. I may not hug them, but I can be where I am, and in the moment, usually there's tears, and then we go from there.
Right. I'm just here in Mexico, and Dia de los Muertos, and cemeteries are big. They look like they're very elegant. It's the word elegant is what I want to use. They're very picturesque. Very picturesque. It would be a place that you could go to for just really to just walk around there. It's such a sense of sacred and just such well cared for tombs. It's truly impressive. And I think about my own parents. My father was buried, but it's in Maryland. Nobody lives there anymore. And my mom was cremated, so there is no burial site. So if, as you said, not always going to the cemetery is the thing that gets you, because some of us now with cremations and different ways of disposing of remains don't have that. But you can create your way of honoring.
And it's not, there's no wrong. There's no it's just simply what is. It's so important that we remember every person deals with it their own way. And it's important. That's what's important, is to actually acknowledge it and be in that place.
Mm-hmm. And one of the positive aspects of ritual, though, is that it gives one a sense of being in touch with their loved one and a sense of control over the situation in that moment that you're doing the ritual. So that's why rituals can be so healing, because they do give you back exactly the thing that we miss the most, the yearning for our loved one and the loss of control. So by having the ritual, you get to have that sense of control and a reconnection. So great. So I think our next one, give yourself permission to grieve, or for a while. Give yourself permission. Oh, you know what this should be? Let me reframe this. Give yourself permission to not grieve, to set it aside for a while. Because, as I said back in the beginning, that grief can be exhausting. Yes. It can be overwhelming. And sometimes you need to just have a day off. And so many people feel that they can't do that because it's disrespectful to the loved one. It means I didn't really love them as much as I said I did. It has nothing to do with that. It is honoring you. It is honoring you and giving you a space to be able to recharge, to rest.
When my sister was really at her worst, and I didn't know she was dying, but she was, and she had gotten all of this because she went from diagnosis to transition in 2 months, and she was 37 years old. It was all a shock. Wow, she was diagnosed with lung cancer, and it flew through her body. And she said, and I was the cheerleader. I didn't know how to be anything else. I was the cheerleader to try to keep her going. I took her to every appointment. I did what it was how I knew to help, is to bring her back up again. And she said, I can have a pity party if I want to.
Oh, yes.
And you know what? She could. She absolutely, she had every right to feel everything that she felt. And I said, but make sure you bring someone with you, because there comes a point it's not fun anymore.
Yes.
And when you bring someone you love with you, they can bring you back out. And that is the trick, is to know that there is a time and a place to grieve, feel sad, feel exhausted. There's a time and a place for all of it. And then it exceeds its welcome. But sometimes we're so far in, we don't know how to get ourselves out.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. You're truly wise. A wise reverend. A wise reverend.
I don't know about that, but I've experienced a lot of different types of grief. And it's so important that we're honest with somebody in our lives, so they're checking on us.
Right.
Because when we don't tell anyone, sometimes we think, well, why isn't anyone calling? I realized years later, the reason nobody called is because I never told anyone I needed them. They never had a reason to think that I needed that phone call. I always was okay. Oh, I'm good. I'm okay. And I took care of everyone else. So why would they think they need to call me?
Exactly. What? Oh gosh, that is so true. And that is why we do need friends. We can't heal in isolation. We just can't. And you do need that friend that will call you and say, come on, Gina, we're going to go check out a movie. We're going to go down and watch the men play basketball or something. We're going to do something.
A comedy, go to a show, do whatever you need to do. There comes a point that we need to get out of the stuckness and be alive again. They're gone, you're not. And I know that sounds harsh, but if we're acting like we are, there's something wrong. Yes, it's good to honor it, but we still are here. And no loved one that cares about us would want us to stop living for them.
Exactly. And nor is that what needs to happen. What happens is that you lean into that grief, you feel the discomfort, and then you keep moving forward, another step forward. As I said, it's great to have a friend who will say, come on, let's go. Or I've noticed that you've been in for way too long. So you can't heal in isolation. You need to, and that's why I say grief needs to be shared. It needs to be shared. Someone needs to know that you are.
Or a support group, or a therapist, a counselor, or a minister, or a practitioner. Make sure there's somebody that is helping you and is knowing that you are in need. If you don't say it, we're supposed to need each other. And I think that too often, especially in our society, we think that to be strong means you don't need anyone. No, to be strong is to know what you need.
Right. We're changing. Yes. Being strong is knowing what you need. And knowing what you need and having somebody there when you can't articulate what it is that you need. And with that, I'd like to go to the number 7, seek support from safe people who do not judge you or tell you how to grieve. Again, saying that we do need support. And so many times I've heard people say, oh, I told my sister-in-law how I was feeling, and she said, oh, I can't hear that right now. Oh, or girl, you need to do X, Y, and Z. You really need to, as Brene Brown says, people have to earn the right to hear your story. Be selective in who you tell, who you share your heart with. Be selective.
And no one has to agree with you. It's not their grief. It's not their experience. It's your experience. There is no wrong. So it's honoring where you are, how you are, what you're walking through. And if someone doesn't do that, then they don't deserve that part of you. And it's not in a way that I need to fight for it. There's other people that deserve that part of me. So it's asking spirit to provide what you need, you know, and letting spirit be there, divine grace. When you are grieving, there is nothing like grace to lift you back up again. But you have to put
Oh, I
yourself,
love
you have to be
it.
in that place of receiving the grace. If you don't go to the well, you will not get water. If you don't plug in, you don't get power. So go to the source every day. You know,
Yeah.
part of that power, you know, part of that divine help, yes, support can also be, you know, physical people. It can be your, you know, your minister, your doula. It can be
Yes.
your, you know, your coach or whatever it may be, your best friend. It could be a sibling. There's a lot of people that can help us through. Or it's also, well, and it's also spirit. You know, life, to me, God is my life raft. My faith is my life raft. When all else seems like it's lost, I know the furthest I can fall is on that raft.
Yes. And Reverend Gina, what do you say to those people? Because just every guest I've had on has said a spiritual support, spiritual support is vital. What do you say to those people that don't have a spiritual practice or
Well,
have,
it is about practice. That's the first thing, and you can't get it wrong. So wherever you are, it's being willing to be willing. It is being willing to be open to divine grace. And you don't have to know what that looks like. You don't know, even if the word doesn't come into your, it's just, you know, help. You know, open up your arms like you would to your, as a small child would to its mom or its dad that's hurting. You know, just help and
Mhm.
just be in that vulnerable place of allowing divine grace to fill you.
Mhm.
Amazing things can happen, but
Yeah,
not if you're blocking them.
right. Not if you're blocking. And just what you said, sitting right where you are, putting your arms up and saying, I need help. I need help. I am open to receive help. That is a starting point. And when you say you're open to receive help, I'm telling you, the heavens, the universe, everything moves to bring you that. You just need to be receptive. You need to be open to receive that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And time flies by all the time. Whenever we're chatting, time just flies by.
Uh oh. Okay. Well, I think we're going to do one last one, and we're going to say that we're stopping at number 8, and you'll have to come back next time and do the remaining 4. And this one is just most importantly, accept that your life is going to be crazy or unreal for a while. What is that? Nothing lasts forever. This too will pass. But the chaos, the confusion, the moments of I just can't believe this will be there. And sometimes just knowing that this is a part of grief, this chaotic, just knowing that that's a part of it can really be a help. Um, I'm a registered nurse, and so many patients will say, oh, I went to the doctor because I was having this problem and that problem. And once he told me what it was, I told him, no, I don't need any medicine. I just needed to know what was going on. And now that I know what's going on, I can deal with the symptoms. So, in just knowing that in grief, life is not its normal, usual flow. There's choppy waters. There's moments of doubt and confusion. And if you
And also,
know,
sorry, yeah, you know, but also knowing that in nature abhors a vacuum. So something may be taken, but other things are always given. And
yes,
one thing that I try to remember is everyone couldn't be on the planet at the same time. I have
ah,
grandchildren. I have 4 beautiful grandchildren, and everyone couldn't be. There couldn't be new children born every day if people didn't, you know, transition. There's no room for everybody. And as much as we would love all of ours to stick around, It doesn't necessarily work that way. So it's
Right.
trusting that while there will be losses, there are also gifts along the way, and they look different than we expect, and we don't get to choose sometimes. But it's important to know there are blessings all around us, and we don't want to miss the blessings and the gifts that we have for the one that's not here now.
Yes, yes, yes. And in all of this that we've said, it's just to give some suggestions. You choose what really rang true for you. What really rang true for you. Anything else, leave it. Or if there's some jewel that you can take away and contact someone who is in grief and share this with them.
Yeah.
That is absolutely wonderful. Vital if you can do that. To start opening those lines of communication, reaching out to those that are in grief. And Reverend Gina, is there any last words you'd like to share?
The most important thing that I think that we can do when it comes to grief is loving ourselves and loving others. And don't worry about the right words,
Oh,
just be love. Because
yes.
no one knows what to say. Nobody does. This, my heart and my prayers and thoughts are with you. No one knows what to say when it comes to, and there's nothing that you're going to say that's going to make it all better. It doesn't work
And
that way. But I love you, and I'm here is plenty.
exactly. Yes, I'm here for you. Never underestimate the value of your presence alone. Not that
And
you have to say anything, do anything. Your presence alone is a healing balm. Your presence alone.
send a card the next week, not during the middle of it all. The
Yes.
next 2 weeks later, send a card. I'm still thinking of you, praying for you. I'm here if there's anything I can do. Because it reminds them they're not forgotten. In the midst of the beginning, everybody's there. But 2 weeks
Yes.
later, no one is. And put a reminder on your calendar of the anniversary, because everyone feels that differently the next year. Or whatever it may be. If it's a pet, maybe you need a new one. Maybe it's giving a little bit of time, but getting new
Yes.
one. If you lost a pet and there was so much love there, allow yourself that love again. It's not about the same cat,
Yes.
dog, or whatever it may be, but they brought so much love. You can still have more of that.
Yes. 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 Oh, well said. Well said. Well done, Reverend Gina. And as Reverend Gina says, I am here for you, and Reverend Gina is here for you. If you can put up the contact information, Reverend Gina, for you, for Reverend Gina.
People can reach me at either email. It's gina@believeinouttoday.com or gina@cslboston.org, whichever they prefer. So again, gina@believeinouttoday.com or gina@cslboston.org is how people can reach out to me. And I'd love to hear from them, of course.
Yes, yes. And her Sunday services can be found on.
I'm on Facebook, as a CSL Greater Boston Facebook channel, but also this network usually. But this is Bonnie.
Yeah, that's me, Bonnie Gonzalez14@gmail.com or yourdoulaforgrief.com. I'm reachable by both. And I just want to put in a quick plug for the Convention of the Americas that is happening August 1st through August 5th, right down here in Lake Chapala. And it's going to be at the Hotel Monte Carlo. And it's sharing the light. So come and share your light. Registration is open and would love to see you here. So thank you. Thank you. And I'm just going to leave you with these words, as Reverend Gina said. Just look in your own eyes, look in the mirror, and ask yourself, what do I need today? If that's too big, just what do I need right now? And follow through on the request from yourself. Rev Gina, thank you so, so much. And I can't wait to have you back for 4 more suggestions.
Such a blessing to be here with you.
Thank
Love
you so much. Have just a wonderful day. Thank you. Besitos to everyone out there. Thank you.